Maybe this is your first time in any editing software, and so congratulations first of all. But I'd like to get started and just walk you through, get you feeling good about the software so you can start editing your own projects today. For those of you who are coming from older versions of Final Cut, this is also a good video for you just to watch once and you'll probably catch on a lot quicker. But there are some new layouts, new features. So let's go ahead. The best way to explain it is just to create a project. So if you right click over here in your event library, before we import our footage, we need to create a new event. I'm going to call it Final Cut Tutorial. Now it gives us two options in the browser. So if you had a DSLR and you imported already onto your folder, then you can get them from there. That's what I'm going to do. But you can also import them from a camera if you have it plugged into your computer. So if you import your files here, I'm going to go to Final Cut X Tutorial. This is where my footage is. And by the way, since we're here, this folder above called Final Cut Events, this is where Final Cut actually stores your projects. So if you're ever needing to find them, this is where they're default. So I'm going to go ahead and click Import. Now this is the browser, and this is where we store our clips. And you can see any media like photos, video, or audio is going to be in here. While this is going, let me just explain some other stuff we've got going on here. We've got some video effects. Similar to iMovie, they have arranged in the lower right hand corner our video effects. You can import photos directly from your iPhoto, as well as music from iTunes. You've got transitions here, pre-made text, backgrounds, and what they're calling themes, which are like intros and outros. I'll show you something cool we can do with these filters a little later. Now this is our canvas where we're going to be able to watch our final video project. One of the new features in Final Cut that's really sweet is the auto sync. So you can take video that you shoot on a DSLR like this one, and it has bad audio. I'm on the 5D, right? So here we go.
5D, which doesn't have great audio.
You can tell, not the best audio. But I also used my laptop, I put it next to me. I just recorded this.
Great audio on camera.
And now we can sync them together. If I select both of them by holding down Command for the two I want, I can right click and hit Synchronize Clips. Now it created a new clip right here with a little icon that means it's synchronized clip. Let's see how it did.
Great audio on camera. And I'm also doing some separate audio to show you that you can.
That's a real cool setting. So what I want to do is bring in some clips into my timeline so we can get to work. So if I'm watching through and previewing these, playing through what I like, I can actually star these and rate them. So they've got these three rating tools. First is a green star, and you can see it adds a green line up there. I could go to the next one and say I don't like that one, so I give it a red line. And if I want to remove any, I can just hit the neutral star. That takes away the rating. This will help you later. It's kind of like the color coding labels in Final Cut 7. But let's go ahead and bring this clip in. I can either drag and drop it down and it snaps into place. Now I'm going to go to the next one and trim it down at the end. So I'm going to trim this one down by pulling the out point. The yellow box shows us what part of the clip we're going to be importing. And I could go through frame by frame with my right and left arrows. And here's my out point right here. So I'm going to hit O to move that, the out point. And I could either drop and drag this into place as well, and it'll snap behind the other clip. Or, let me just show you what these tools do here. If I hit this one, looks like a chat icon. It's going to drop it in the next layer above where my playhead was. This line that's moving along our storyline is called the playhead. So wherever I put it, and I hit that little chat box, it's going to drop it in the layer above at the position where our playhead is. I'm going to show you another way to bring it in. Now this is an insert button right here, and what it does is, I'll show you. If I put my playhead kind of in the middle of the previous clip and we hit the insert button, it pushes itself between and the other clip split in half. If you want to zoom in a little bit here on our whole project, you can hit Shift Z. That'll also work with the canvas. So if you want to delete what we just did, undo, Command Z, we're back to normal. And if I want to put this one at the end, as long as these two previous clips are connected, Hit that. Some basic editing tools. We've got these selections here. Select, which is our main arrow key. We've got trim, which will happen if you go to the edge of a clip. That automatically pops up and you could trim it how you see fit. A few more of these I'll explain later, but B is a really important one you'll be using a lot, and it's the blade tool. So you'll be chopping up things, and once you want to go back to the arrow, key command A. I really encourage you to learn the key commands really quickly. It'll save you literally hours and hours later down the road. And this part of learning Final Cut, you just need to play around. I'll actually post this footage, everything you see in my browser, I'll have as a project file you can download for free from my website or in the link in the description of this video. Anyway, you can follow along and just hit B, and we're making an edit. Let's say we want to make a cut here. Hit A, and we can actually just select that and delete. And again, the process of moving your clips around is very easy. Now, the more advanced editing, I'm going to get into that, tutorials later to come. Let's move on to filters though, because there are some cool features here. So we can come over to video filters, and look at this. You can check it out. You can preview, like scrub through, and look how the icon down here actually changes. It's so sweet. A real nice way to test what the clip is instead of dragging it on and seeing you don't like it and rendering it out like the old way of doing it. So we can go through and check the filters out. Just so I show you how to import photos, it's very easy. You just drop and drag. It really is that easy. So drop and drag. Notice how this photo here actually isn't covering the entire screen. So I can have it cover the entire screen if I select it. And if I hit the transform button, I can open it up a little bigger, move the position, so we actually fill the entire screen and don't have that awkward cutoff. I'm going to delete that photo, hit Shift Z on your storyline. Now let's go ahead and actually add an effect. It's a bleach bypass. I'm going to put this on the shooter clip. It's rendered it out. We've got some inspector issues we need to take care of. The inspector is up here, and this controls all the different variables that go into this filter. So you can see there's a lot of different things we can do. I'm going to actually change the amount of the bleach bypass to about 94.5, and it's got a color correction option. So click this arrow, and here we've got some different things to play with. If you're familiar with the three-way color corrector in previous versions, this is it in a different dialog. Basically, you've got your tint here, change the color dramatically. We've got our blacks, now they're calling it shadows. We've got our midtones, just like before, and our highlights, which is our whites. And we've got three tabs: color, saturation, and exposure. And for each of those, the same tabs there. So it's like a toned down version of color working in Final Cut. If this is your first time learning how to edit, so much of it is really going in, getting your hands dirty, or getting your mouse dirty, I don't know, and practicing and learning as much as you can. I'm going to be posting so many more tutorials like this. I also, again, have a training course coming out that's going to be very detailed. It's going to teach you all the ins and outs, no pun intended. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I'll try to answer them as best I can. From now on, all my behind the scenes and tutorials are going to a separate channel. It's the sister channel of Final Cut King. We thought it would be very appropriate. So you can go check that channel out. This link right here will take you there, and you can subscribe. Anyway, take care.